Hey everybody, it's Pam Sterling with the Outrageous Story Raw Food Adventure, and I want to talk about knife skills today. You know, one of the things I find in my cooking classes when people come up to help assist in chopping things up is one of the things I notice is that knife skills are definitely something that's a learned skill, and there's ways that you can chop stuff up that is much more efficient. So I want to show you that today. And so the first thing, of course, is having a very good sharp knife. And I like these mid-sized knives. You don't want to use the little bitty knives. You can't do the kind of chopping that you need to do. So I like, you know, something in this size or even larger, because you want to really go at the thing that you're chopping at. So the other key thing when you're chopping is that you want to do kind of a slicing motion, and as much as you can, leave the tip of the knife down on the cutting board. So you're kind of cutting through, it's kind of this kind of a motion where you're cutting through whatever it is that you're chopping through. So I'm going to cut through this onion first, and I'm just going to cut the ends off. I'm going to do my own little version of Julie and Julia here, hopefully not as much as she had. And I'm just going to take some of the peel off of that so that we can get down to the actual chopping of the onion. So when we're chopping then, so I have my onion, what I want to do is I want to keep the tip of my knife down, and then I want to keep moving this, using this kind of slicing motion. So I'm going to slice like this, and slice through, and then when I get to wanting to make smaller pieces like this, then I'm going to do the exact same thing. I just turn that onion on its side, and I'm going to move on through, continue chopping like this. And when you're chopping that way, you can chop pretty quickly. You're going to do a lot of chopping in raw food cooking, and so this is a great skill to have. Now, I'm just going to show what the professionals do, and I'm not a trained professional chef. I'm just a home chef. My eyes are starting to water. Okay. So what they do, I don't know if you can show this, but they actually will, what do you call that? Bend your fingers. Bend their fingers like this, and then run the knife up against it. That way you don't want to get your fingers, you know, under the knife. So you can chop like this and actually run the knife up against your fingers, and that way you keep the tips of your fingers out of the way as you're chopping. So that's an onion. What I wanted to show you is also a pepper, because one of the things with peppers that is a little trick to chopping peppers, we're just going to take the insides out of that, is that if you chop it, slice it from the inside rather than trying to slice on the outside, you get a lot more traction. So rather than with your pepper cutting it on the outside like this, turn it over and slice through the inside where it's rougher and not so slippery, and you're going to be able to cut it a lot better. So I just go through like this with my pepper, and it just slices much more easily. Make sure I don't cut myself, and I'm just going to turn it sideways now and get myself a nice little dice. Now you can leave it like this for a lot of dishes, but we're just going to get a nice little dice like this. And I'm going to try my little professional chef way of doing this just to kind of demonstrate. And you should be able to cut through things pretty quickly. The way you don't want to cut, so let me show you what people often do just to make sure that I'm being clear about the way you do want to slice your vegetables, is you don't want to go straight down like this. So what I find is people want to try to push the knife down through like this, even though it'll chop it, it's not the most efficient way to do it. So you don't want to push your knife through, you want to really rock it and slide it through. And then the final thing I want to show you is a tomato. Now this is the one thing that either you need a super sharp knife, or again, I like to use a bread knife for a lot of these things. I know it's unconventional, but it's a great way to chop through some things that are a little more tender and you don't really want to kind of mush them down as you're trying to chop. So I just use a really nice bread knife, slice it through, and you can see I just slices it through really easily. And then I do the same thing, holding the tip down, I'm going to slice through more like this. Oops. And then I'm going to, now I'm just going to cut it more like a loaf of bread as I cut through this way on my tomatoes. Oops. So then we have a nice diced tomato. So a little on knife skills. Hopefully that will help you in your food prep, on your raw food dishes that you're making. Again, the more efficient we're going to be doing a lot more preparation like that, the more efficient you are, the faster it makes it. And as you know, I'm all about making it fast. If I can't do it in 10 minutes, I don't do it. And my knife skills help me move as quickly as I can through that preparation. So another tip from Pam Sterling. I guess I could say you're outrageous story raw food chef, and we'll see you next time.